Like today I shaved. I need to get better at shaving. Hello, boys and girls. This is your old friend RJ City, and I'm back. As they say in show business, they'll say, I'm back. And they'll point at the camera, and the people go, oh, is he talking to me? And that's how, celebrity engagement works in the television business. I'm back with another episode of Ask RJ, where I will be answering the questions that you've asked, and I'm all prepared. I have my Twilight Zone mug and my Paul Lynde shower curtain backdrop and my, Cassius Clay shirt. I'm a big boxing fan. Love his appearances on Dick Cavett. And, of course, my Charles Nelson Riley glasses. So, again, I will reiterate, when I put this out, I said use the hashtag AskRJ. So if you did not use the hashtag, I will not see your question, and therefore I will not answer your question. This is how social media works. I cannot reiterate it enough. But first, let us look at my YouTube community tab. It's a burgeoning forum of viewers interacting with people, and we have some questions here. Mariella's a wonderful question, says, would you join Cameo? And congratulations, Mariana, because I already have. Cameo.com/RJCity. And yesterday somebody got me to roast her husband. I don't know what sick kinks these people are into. I don't know how that plays in the bedroom, but whatever your fetish is, I'm happy to indulge it via that app. T-Gamer says, Bette Davis or Joan Crawford? Bette Davis, and it's not even close. Not to derail the career of Joan Crawford, because it was certainly wonderful. But I think Bette Davis had the longer career. I think she had the more memorable career, the better roles, and the better moments in those roles. And perhaps because she had such a distinct personality and way of speaking. I cannot do her. Mario Cantone does a wonderful job of hers. I will also recommend you all check out her Tonight Show appearances on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. And she is old, but she is dressed up. She has hats and pins and mini skirts, and she's like 105, and she is a firecracker. And she sits with her gloves on and her cigarette like this, and we should all be so lucky to live that long and that weirdly. So here's to you, Betty. A young girl named Jessamine says, what was the best lesson you learned in wrestling? And from whom, should really say from whom, or what did you learn it? It's a fine question. I'm just, advice is coming into my head. Kevin Nash said to me, make sure 3 things are always black: your sunglasses, your limo, and your tuxedo. I've yet to have a reason to need any of that advice. Another one I heard was, it's all a work. And that's one I say all the time, and it's true, because a lot of stuff is just, whatever. It's hard to decipher what the true reality is. Everyone seems to be a worker, if that makes any sense. Always watch the people who made more money than you. I think that was also a good one. Also from Kevin Nash. And Roddy Piper, as I've told, many times, said that this is where the money is. And he got very close to my face. Now you can't. Social distancing, you can't make any money. Imagine Piper now, he'd be like, I can't get here. It's like, no, you can't do that. But this is where the money's made. Well, that's also where the sickness is made. I'm sorry. You're going to have to step back, sir. So I hope that helps everyone's wrestling careers. Now moving on to Twitter, Waylon Simpson with a question said, have I ever come close to getting that Cobb salad? I mean, certainly if I go out and I see it on the menu, I can get it. Sometimes they have a nice option to put it in a wrap, but that's a horse of another color. Have I gotten close in terms of people trying to sign me and offer me contracts? Yes. Have they wanted me bad enough that they said, hey, we're also going to have a Cobb salad ready for you? No, they haven't, and that's why I haven't signed anywhere. I think that's pretty clear. You got to do the work. Meet me halfway. What are you saying? Oh, we have a great platform for you. We're giving you a mic and a camera. Gee, look, I have one at home. What else are you offering me? Make a salad. A good one, a hearty one. I think there's going to be a vinaigrette involved if you really want me to go places. Get that hard-boiled egg, but don't chop it up. Because I don't eat the yolks. I like to eat around. I just like to eat the whites. Dan Dunn says, when will I be giving my teeth to Danhausen? So, as you know, my wrestler and dear friend Danhausen, comes to the ring with a jar of teeth. Whose teeth they are, I'm not quite sure. And then David Arquette was so moved by his act of teethdom that he sent him his golden bridge. And David kept saying to me, I'm sending him I have a piece of my golden bridge. And I thought he was talking about, like, I don't know, something from San Francisco, like a little model of, like, the Golden Gate Bridge. I didn't understand it at all. And then Danhausen's like, hey, I got David's teeth in the mail. Will I give him my teeth? No, because I don't plan on them falling out. Okay? I'll give him a lock of my hair. And he can put it in his jar of teeth. That's sanitary. Muriel Cylinder said, ask RJ two-parter. This is going to be a stunning conclusion. When not reading dirty limericks or wrestling books, what kind of reading do you enjoy? Okay, let me answer that question first. Sometimes I used to love, and I should really do it more now that I have the time. But they're not open. I used to love going to the library and getting like two totally different books. So I would get, like, one time I got a book on meditation and a Sammy Davis Jr. biography. And my theory is it keeps you reading, because once you start getting bored of one, you go back to the other. It's like, mindfulness, peacefulness, we are all one, let's eliminate suffering. And then it's like, Sammy Davis Jr.'s family sold his glass eye after he died. So it keeps you ping pong back and forth. My favorite book ever is New York Trilogy by Paul Auster. It's one of those books. It's 3 short stories. Well, short-ish. It's in a novel about detectives in New York. But it's very weird in a sense that it can only be in book form. To appreciate it, you can only read it. Could not make it into a movie. It could only be a book. I'm fascinated by things like that. The second question, which is also not related to the first, is what's my favorite kind of underwear to wear? I like underwear that is short and on the legs, in the sense that I don't. Then they feel like shorts. Otherwise, they're down to my knees, mid thigh. No, I need them like, they call them boxer briefs, but I can also get away with briefs. Sometimes I need the air on my legs. I tend to get hot very easily. People would say, you're in your underwear in your kitchen, aren't you cold? It's like, no, when I finish the show, I'm covered in sweat. It's a very trying process, and yet I need the attention, so I persevere. So I would say just shorter ones would be nice. So if anyone is in the buying mood, please keep them brief. Kyle Perry says, best Don Knotts role. Personally, the best, and I just did an episode on him last week for The Good, the Bad, and the Unknown, and I mentioned a lot of roles that I liked. But if we were to go for the best, I'd probably say the Ghost in Mr. Chicken was probably my favorite. I also liked him in the Apple Dumpling Gang with Tim Conway. And they did another one, they did the Apple Dumpling Gang Rides Again, and then they did Private Eyes, which is basically the same characters, but they're detectives. Funk as Puck said, have you ever met Lou Ferrigno? To my knowledge, no. But I think I saw him at a Comic-Con. I think it was at the Hamilton Comic-Con, and I got ponzied into doing security for Adam West. His deal was, and I think it was like $60 for him to sign anything, but he didn't want any pictures taken of him. It was only a signing, and there were to be no pictures. So our job was to stand in front of him, build a wall with these other men, and and if anyone was taking pictures, you have to like go put your hand in the way and wave. I don't know if he had cataract surgery or astigmatism or something, but you couldn't take any picture of Adam West, and he made a killing that day. I was just counting $60 going in and out the door. It was wild. Who else did I meet that day? Lee Merriweather, who played Batwoman in the who played Catwoman in the Batman movies. So it was Julie Newmar, Eartha Kitt, and then Lee Merriweather was in the movie. And I told her I had a crush on her just as she was drinking water, and she started choking, and it was a bad. Don't tell people you have a crush on them, especially while they're drinking. Izzy said, if the barter system comes back, and it will, judging by the trajectory we're on, how many turnips would it cost for a Vespa? So listen, I'm not a Vespa guy. I'm not interested on going on things with less than 4 wheels, ever. It's just not my bag. And also skateboards. Is there a three-wheeled skateboard? That's what I'd like to know. So let's assume that for some reason I happen to have the Vespa and I want the turnips. I would say 2 sacks, like potato sacks. And I guess we're gonna, the real question is how big is the turnip? And I think you really have to go by weight. But if a turnip is this, let's say the size of a decent orange, maybe not a huge one, but a decent one, I would say 2 sacks. And I'm talking like potato sacks. So let's say there's 30 to 50 in a sack. So roughly 80 to 100 turnips. And I think that would be a fair barter system. What I'm gonna do with the turnips? None of your business. Johnny Fuego says, given the success of your Sunday and Wednesday shows, would you ever consider becoming a full-time talk show host? I've been asking for that for years. You can't, it's not something you just consider. It's not like just, growing a flower in your garden. There's other people who have to sign off on this and certainly pay you and put you on television. I've asked, and I've gotten really no answer. I'm a good host. I'll say it. I think I'm a damn fine interviewer, too. You find me another host who's interviewed Mario Cantone and Steve Austin. Maybe like a Conan O'Brien has. But still, that's pretty good range, and it should count for something. So, in the meantime, Coffee and Underwear started because I pitched to CBC doing like Facebook Live because it was a hot new thing, and they were like, "This is everyone's getting into live," which turned out to be a scam. And I thought, well, let's do it. We can do it from here. I was doing the Cynical Craft at the time. You do it once a week, and even if it was 15 minutes, what's the big deal? Like, let's just try it out. And they had to get like 30 people to sign off on it, and it was like, wah, wah, wah. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it myself. Thank you for your participation. So, Johnny, the answer, of course, is yes, I've considered it, but I also consider that there's more people that have to consider it before I actually get one. So I would kindly ask you to direct your queries to them. Ty5 said, what's your morning routine like? How do you start your day? Okay. I like to get up. I mean, right now there's no rules, but I still like to get up at the latest 9 o'clock. Anything past 9, I just feel like I feel like a slob. You know what I mean? So I would let's say between 7 and 8:30 would be ideal. I should get up earlier because I like focusing. Because my anxiety is asleep in the morning. Like if I get up at 6:30 and I start doing work on my computer, I'm like better. I'm cool. It's working for me for some reason. But I get out of bed. I put maybe shorts on. I'm usually in my underwear. And I will do 50 squats. And I enjoy them. And they're good for me. And sometimes I film them. It's a good look. Some people like to see them. And then I will go into the bathroom. And what will I do there? I have a few stretches I like to do. One is a decompression. Another is for my forearms. The other one's for the shoulders. Mouthwash is very big because you want to kill the germs that have been just ruminating in there while you're sleeping. And then water, a lot of water. I'll also put cold water on my face. If I wash my face, sometimes I use soap. Sometimes I don't right now because I have a high oil production. And sometimes when I put soap on my face, it makes you produce more oil, which is a bad thing. So, but it will always be cold water on my face. Sometimes I will shave. Like today, I shaved. I need to get better at shaving. And then I will go downstairs. I'll put my socks on, my shorts on. I will go downstairs and I will begin to make my coffee, which I'm doing very well, and my usual egg whites and kale, and maybe I'll have some Triscuits. Who knows? I'm a wild guy. And for the hard-hitting question, says Ty, what's your favorite color? I like mint green. I'm a big fan of the refreshingness of a mint. I'm also into pastels. A periwinkle blue is a nice turn sometimes, but really hardcore, a stalwart fan of the mint. Lee says, how much does it bother you when people don't clean their fingernails? Before this pandemic thing, I was still disgusted with having to shake people's hands at wrestling shows. Because it was just like, you'd get to a show and maybe you have like a snack with you. You're like, I'm going to get in, I'm going to say hi to everybody, I'm going to sit down and eat and then go about my business. And you'd always have to like say hi to people who just had the dirtiest, it looked like they were a veteran mechanic. It was just the most disgusting thing. And the cleaning issue is also like you also have to cut them. I feel like you can't have dirty fingernails if they're this short. I mean, if you have, grime and grease like a mechanic, it's fine. But like people who have dirt, it's usually because they're just so long. And then you got to shake all their hands and like, surprise, there's like, maybe one indie bathroom max at a show. So what are you going to walk around with the hand sanitizer? That doesn't clean the nails. It's disgusting. And everyone should have a nail file on them. I think it would be a good idea. Mike Celzo said, RJ, will we be getting more videos of the wrestlers' careers you made anytime soon? I can confirm that one is in the works. It's very wonderful, which is a hint, but it's a vague hint, so I don't know if you'll understand it. Yeah, there's one in the works. Obviously, again, back to similar to the talk show question, these were made, so hopefully people will buy them, and network would want to do more of them or do another animated wrestling series entirely, which would be fantastic. So they were kind of put out as demos by Soulless Animation, who were delightful, and they were promos I did on YouTube originally, and they took the audio and then animated what I narrated, which was incredible. I never thought it was even possible. But I will say this one is a new one that I wrote just for them. When it comes out, I don't know. They were working away like little cobblers, but with pens. Look, when it comes out, you'll know. That's all I can say. Matt said, have you given Rick and Morty a chance yet? Now, I'm still getting through Yogi Bear. There's so much going on with that guy. Once I'm done with him, I have to finish some more Hanna-Barbera. That is a Hong Kong Phooey. And then I'll get on to Rick and Morty. Joe Crack said, what will it take for you, Xavier Woods, Ruby Riott, and Corinne Mink to do a Golden Girls podcast? First of all, Xavier Woods does not really seem to be on board with my friendship that much. Only in like a public sense. We had a rift because I told him Maude was a better show, and it is. He got all upset. I said, you know what, let me make a peace offering. Let me be a better person. I sang to him, and I sent a video of me singing half of the Golden Girls theme, and then he never sent back the other half. You're supposed to extend, you're supposed to be the other half, the yin and the yang. You're supposed to take the olive branch and then give one back. I think that's how the olive branch exchange works. And he didn't. So, you know what? I don't know. I got my own stuff. He's got his own stuff. If he doesn't want to have me on, I haven't been on Up, Up, Down, Down. I haven't been playing, I got to play the Perfect Strangers game on my own YouTube channel. It's disgusting. Guy's supposed to be friends with me. They all want to be on my Twitter and help and like my stuff. And then they don't want to have me on any of their stuff. So, you know what? But Ruby Riott is a fine gal. Corinne Mink is a fun gal. I don't know if I want to do a podcast, but certainly we'll talk about Golden Girls privately. Jay Worthington Farnsworth, who sounds like, a made-up Jay. It's like a character on like a children's sitcom or something, and it's like, oh, my relative is coming from England, and it's them, but like with a suit on, and I'll be like, now presenting Jay Worthington Farnsworth. What is the most recent sitcom you consider legitimately good? I'm not sure if Crashing counts as a sitcom in the sense that you're saying. I don't know what else can say. I liked, what was the name of the show? Los Spookies. I guess that would be considered a sitcom. I thought it was fantastic, and I think it's coming back for another season. I want to say it was on HBO. Fred Armisen produced it. What else did I like? There's a lot that I think is good, but like I don't need to like it or be like a fan of it. Parks and Rec had their moments. I mean, I would say Curb Your Enthusiasm was certainly the biggest one, although now it's really veering into like hard sitcom territory. Originally, it used to be like half doc and had that reality quality to it. So yeah, I would say them. There's things I like. I mean, they're no Jack Benny show, but there's things I like. Maz Ender has a bunch of questions, and I have the time. What is your best memory of your career so far? That is a wonderful, wonderful question. I think me and David bringing Steve Austin a cherry pie. I just think it was a good move. I think I like to bring a slice of myself into the world, and it was a fine example of that. What else did I like? Oh, I liked when I wrestled for Impact, and I specifically wanted the camera to cut. I was going to say, director, cut the camera too, when I had the guy in a hold and I was going to talk to the people at home. And I said to the producer, I said, this is what I want to do. Do you want me to speak to the director and organize it? He said, no, they'll get it. I said, okay. And then he said, if not, they'll fix it in editing. And I said, great. And of course, when I did it, now that you watch it on the show, they cut to the wrong camera, almost intentionally. So, it sounded like I just ate a piece of bread, almost intentionally. And of course, there was no salad. No Cobb salad to speak of. What else was my favorite moment? That's a fine question. I don't have favorite moments, and I think that's why I keep wrestling. If I had a favorite moment, then maybe I would say that was good, and then I'd stop. What is your favorite wrestling woman? First of all, Mazender, I'd like to say you should say who, because women are human beings too. Who do I like? Oh, I like a Mildred Burke. No, I do like Mildred Burke. There is a woman that I'm currently obsessed with. Her name, it was very, very old. Maybe the 60s, 70s. No, 60s for sure, because it was black and white. Yuli Brenner. And she was a tall gal, and she had a shaved head. And I guess the implication was that she looked like Yul Brenner. And it was, I guess, terrifying at that time to see a woman with a shaved head. She was actually very good. So it has been very interesting to watch and find more about her. I'm also a big fan of Bull Nakano, who I met, and she was incredibly sweet. She was such a sweet girl because she knows she can kill me whenever she wants. Mazender said, what is your favorite wrestler, man and woman? Pick only one of them. Gee, Mazender, you're having a wonderful syntax here. What is your favorite wrestler? I like a Roddy Piper. I think he's a fun guy, and then I got to know him, and I continued to think he was a fun guy. Who else would be my favorite wrestler? That's a wonderful up-and-comer named Giuseppe. What's his name? He makes pizza. I think his name is Luigi Primo, I think is his name. Giuseppe. That's very racist and stereotypical. He makes pizza. I haven't seen him wrestle, but boy, do I like pizza. Mazender said, what is your favorite color? We've been through this. It's mint green and periwinkle blue. Thank you for keeping score at home. Mazender also said, what is your best and worst mark during your school days? I would always do well in reading and writing. I won the drama award in high school. And in university, I won the culture and entertainment award, to the surprise of no one, for my high marks in some cultural entertainment theory class, which is certainly, look at where it's led me now. What was my worst mark? Not quite sure. I don't think anything was devastating. I think there was one of those ones, it was like some science, it was like kind of those calculus classes, it's like, here's a computer system you need to learn how to use, here's bars and graphs and this stuff. And they were like, listen, it was one of those things where like, everybody failed all at once. They were like, listen guys, like you all have no idea what you're doing, and I think it's my fault as a teacher, so let's just wipe it clean. And it was a collective failure. It's so good. You really want to succeed on your own, but when you fail, you want everyone else to fail too. Mazender said, what is your dream car? Motorcycle? Bicycle? Well, motorcycle, bicycle, again, I'll only ride things that have 4 wheels. And also, I will not ride skateboards. So motorcycle and bicycle are out because I find them both terrifying. A motorcycle is just, I'm afraid of a bicycle. And a motorcycle is just a bicycle with a motor on it. So I don't think it's a very good idea to take something you hate and put a motor on it. What is your dream car? I like a Tesla. I would like a nice mint green Tesla. Although, that the windshields are too big. You see the roof, it's like a sunlight, and I keep just looking up at the, I would like with a roof, I would like a Tesla with a roof on it. Mazender said, do you think you can beat Jessamine Duke at a beat-em-all game? I have no idea what a beat-em-all game is. I've lost to her before. I've also beaten her before. So I want to say, generally speaking, we're even. I'd like to have it out in perhaps a Super Smash Brothers. I'm not going to say bros, because it's just weird. Because bros, I mean, B-R-O-S, period, means brothers. So you should say brothers. It's not Super Mario Bros. It's Super Mario Brothers. I want the old 64 version. I want to perhaps be Kirby, and I would absorb her powers. And I'd be into playing Red Dead or MMA or whatever she does. Mazender said, what would you do if a fan jumps into the ring to help you? I would say, I'm a heel. You shouldn't be helping me. Have you been following the story at all? Do you know how this business works? Go sit back down and boo me like you're supposed to. Amateur fan. Mazender said, would you accept to be the referee of a wrestling match? I have before. When I first started wrestling, I was on some fakakta show where I had to wrestle the opener, and a fan was the referee, okay? Because there was whatever happened, there was just no ref. There was no ref. They're like, what do we do? I wrestled the opener. This fan who they had known, and they figured he's seen enough wrestling, and he reffed in a ref shirt and just gym shorts. And then after the match, I had to run backstage, take off my wrestling gear, put on jeans, the ref shirt, and a yellow mask, and I reffed the rest of the show by myself. It was like another 7 or 8 matches. So I wrestled, so I was in every single match on the show. I was the tallest ref. I had white sneakers. I had a yellow mask. It made no sense. And I was covered in sweat by the end. My voice was gone. My knees hurt. My back hurt. It was a total disaster in every way. You would say, pay your dues. Great. Yeah, I didn't really learn anything from it. I just learned that the other company was inept. Johnny Fuego also says, adding on to this question, from the question he asked before about the talk shows, who would be your sidekick on said talk show? Fascinating. We did, and I'll pitch kind of in a weird way, a show where I was a talk show host and David Arquette was my sidekick. And as you can imagine, no one wanted it for a variety of reasons. Who else would be a sidekick? I have good friends. There's a wonderful gal named Nilu. She's a comedian and she hosts a Yes Queen comedy show in Toronto, and she writes for a bunch of fun TV shows, and I always liked her, and I had stuff pitched with her because I think she was fun. You want someone who is perhaps a counterpart to you. I never want a sidekick that just goes along with whatever you say. I would like a little conflict on my stage. So someone who has a contrary opinion or has lived a different life to me, I think would be very valuable. Kaiji Galucci said, if you could choose any Muppet to puppet, but only choose one, which Muppet would you choose? I would have to go with, Sam the Eagle. Sam the Eagle is I think I could do that well. I think I have a very sturdy hand to get ruffled and patriotic in a very shallow way. He was a real sign of the times, wasn't he? Dylan said, if you could be king of a species, what would it be? Well, of course, humans don't really have kings, so it wouldn't be that fun. King of the whales? Look, you're the lion, you're like, meh, okay, whatever. I like the apes. Maybe the gorillas. I think they have a fun system of designating a king. So I would say maybe a gorilla, I think would be fun. Or a horse. You can't really be king of the horses. You could be. You'd have a wonderful member on you. Should be king. I mean, all horses, even the smallest horse is packet. So to be king, dear Lord, talk about it. Yeah. You'd like to see Mickey Rooney slap you on the ass and say, good job. Old Painty Can Ed said, what outdated slang word or words would you bring back? I love saying huckleberry. This old huckleberry over here. That stuff I do. I love the saying, I'm back. See, I got you guys again. Maybe that's another catchphrase I can use. I love bully for you. Oh, bully for you. Harumph. I love all British Parliament terms. What else? I like the word festoon, but just people don't use it, period. 3 cheers for you. Hooray. That's something people don't say a lot. I'm going to start bringing it back. Martin Morrow says, is your best friend Jessamine Duke single? First of all, she's not my best friend. As you know, my best friend is BB Newirth. Number 1. Number 2, is she single? I believe not. I mean, I don't have the records. I don't check. I'm going to assume look, the girl is tied to her games. You know, she's focused on the task at hand, and that is playing Red Dead Redemption. So, is she single? She could be. She could not be. It doesn't stop me from admiring her as a human being. Jeff said, is there a worse television sheriff than Amos Tupper of Cabot Cove? No, Roscoe P. Coltrane does not count. Cabot Cove was just bad all the way around. You know, you have to have not only ineffectual authority, but you have to have mean streets. And I think Cabot Cove had all of them. Is there another one? Maybe doesn't count as television, but I think Jackie Gleason in Cannonball Run there was a very bad sheriff. Peter Melnick said, have you ever been in a submarine? And I swear to God, I know for sure he's asked this every time we've done this. And the answer is yes, I have been in a submarine, but it was not functioning. I was not underground. Underwater. Submarine. Marine. I get it. I understand the etymology now. I was in like the Brooklyn Navy Yard or something, and they had like kids, check out this old submarine, and that's what I did. Missy Sharrock said, are you a fan of Degrassi? No. But I know a fine woman comedian. Her name is Michelle Shaughnessy, and she's married to one of the old stars on Degrassi. He was the tall guy, and then he ended up being the principal. Can't remember his name. Snake. Spiky Snake. But they seem like nice people, and based on that, I'll say I'm a fan of the show. Landon Lane said, would you rather own a horse-sized duck or a flock of duck-sized horse-sized duck, or a flock of duck-sized horse? So, okay, would you rather own one duck that's the size of a horse, which is tremendous, and would snap your finger off? And have you ever seen the genitalia of a duck? It's terrifying at this size. It doesn't look like the ones we have at all. Or a flock of duck-sized horses. So a flock of duck-sized horses. Are you kidding me? Absolutely. I put little action figures on top. I would have a hoot. Then I could be king of the horses. Taco Cat said, what new things are you trying to learn during quarantine? Well, as you can tell, I'm doubling down on my YouTube business because I have the time, and I will be doing a lot more of it, fortunately, for me, and unfortunately for you. I would say that learning technical things like making a nice backdrop and getting a nice microphone and things of that nature. That's what I've been learning. Also, how to better control my emotions and how to live in the present. Emily Agostini said, did you watch Take Me to the World? If so, what was your favorite bit? Sondheim or Weber? I did not watch it in full. I am fascinated by Andrew Lloyd Webber because sometimes he's great, and then other times he's very, very, very bad. However, I would say I enjoyed the Sondheim more. I think better people like Sondheim. It's like a filtration system. Like if someone has the choice of doing Weber or Sondheim and they choose Sondheim, I'm like, that's probably just a better singer in general. Anthony Walker said, do you think you could beat a meerkat in a fight? Let me tell you something, Anthony. This is a problem. I barely know what a meerkat is. So I wouldn't even tell you if I saw one. They would just start attacking me, and I'd say, can someone tell me what animal this is? So for the element of surprise and confusion alone, I give the nod to the meerkat. Michael Brosius says, what are your feelings on Carol Burnett? I mean, a legend of the screen, certainly the television screen. She didn't make that many hot movies, I'll tell you. The thing about the Carol Burnett show, it's another one where like the echo is so much louder. I mean, great comedians, they all had a great time, but then every clip I see is just them just busting up. I'm like, was this scene funny, or were they just having a really good time? Is there any scene they played straight that was very funny? I don't know. Let me know. She's very funny. She's always been very funny. Also in later roles, little things like when she was on the Larry Sanders Show, she was fantastic. I also feel like that, like every year we give her another reward. Like she has a Lifetime Achievement Award for winning the past Lifetime Achievement Award. It is great. I wish we could just use her for more stuff instead of just bringing her out and applauding her just to show old clips. I feel the same about Tony Bennett. Pretty Ricky Wilde says, Favorite Ontario indie superstar, but tag me in it because I won't check back. Well, I'm going to say it's you, and I'm also not going to tag you, so you'll never know. Tabby Lavalamp said, is asking a second question taking things too far? No, but also that is your second question. E said, I've been on a big Alfred Hitchcock 1940s movie binge since quarantine started. Any recommendations? Yes. It's often overlooked. Alfred Hitchcock Presents, which was his TV show. And it was, I don't want to say it was Twilight Zone because it really wasn't. But they were short stories of suspense and things of that nature. And I think they're very good. And I think they're very digestible while you're in the middle of a binge. I mean, the directing isn't going to floor you. I think he outsourced a lot of it and put a team together, which is fine, but I think it has his fingerprints on it in a good way, and I think it's a good watch. Stuart's Love said, what is your Mount Rushmore of salads? How many people are on Mount Rushmore? 4? Cobb. Julienne? Is it too much to do with Julienne salad? No, it's not. This is my Mount Rushmore. Cobb, Julienne, Kale Caesar is one of my favorites. And what else am I going to say? Dear Lord, these are hard choices. Do I say fruit salad? I'm going to say fruit salad. Fruit goes well together. Does it count as a salad? That's up for debate. But if it does, then I put it there. Green Bastard said, do wrestlers get mad when other wrestlers tell them they suck? Like when a comedian tells another comedian they're not funny. Yes and no. It depends who it is. If you're really looking up to someone and you admire their work and you ask them to watch their match and they're like, you suck. It's heartbreaking. But then there's also people you don't like and they tell you that you suck and you're like, shit, I must be good because I don't like that guy. And if he thinks I'm bad, I must be doing something right. Like, various people named Jim. Simon Graves said, who is your bosom buddy? And he posted a link, sweet of you, Simon, to the 1988 Tony Awards where Angela Lansbury and B. Arthur sang Bosom Buddies from Mame. Oh, I spilled coffee on my hand. They sang Bosom Buddies together from Mame. It's a great performance. You should all check it out. Who is my bosom buddy? I feel like I have a few. Certainly David is a bosom buddy, although I feel like, we're more of an odd couple. Mario Cantone, I would like to be my bosom buddy. And he did agree that we could sing Bosom Buddies next time I go over to his house. I guess which will be 8 years from now. When the ban is lifted and we do Coffee and Underwear again, and also maybe perhaps a Dalton Castle, I would say as a buddy of bosom. And our final question is from Jesse the Mark, who said, why are this? And of course the answer is very, very much.
Guests of the RJ City Show, subscribe to his channel, follow him on social media, and buy his t-shirts at prowrestlingtees.com/RJ City.